everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be sharing with you my favorite contemporary novels. And so when I was actually looking at my shelf, I was like, I actually don't have that many contemporary, and if I do, they are mostly by the same author. So a lot of them I have like eight or nine Kristin Hannah books, and then like Liane Moriarty, like all those ones. So I had to get creative and look at these. So I think I have a good mashup of contemporary. It's not like a genre that I generally gravitate towards, but the ones I have read that I really enjoyed I think really stand out. They're not like light and fluffy. They have some, you know, emotional impact to them. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So starting out, this is one that I'm sure a lot of you already know about, and it is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I read this way before the movie came out, and I really liked it, and I think the movie did a really good job at it was a good book to movie adaptation in my opinion. But for those of you who don't know, the premise of this, it follows Lou, who's kind of down on her luck and she's struggling with finding her place in the world, and she ends up becoming a caretaker for this man who was very lively, and he's very wealthy, but he suffered a kind of very bad injury, and now he is stuck in the wheelchair and he is quadriplegic, and he's very much contemplating physician-assisted suicide, and she's trying to make him realize that his life is worth living, and then he's also kind of at the same time making her realize her potential. So I really like this. I think, like, you know, like, I understand the criticisms with this book in terms of like how people with, like, one of the criticisms was it makes it seem like people with disabilities like have lives that aren't worth living. Like, I see that standpoint, but for me, like, the biggest thing is more so like just finding your potential and your passion in this world, and I really liked how he kind of helped her there with that. I never read any of the continuations, like the sequels to these. I think like this one for me was like is a good standalone. It is also tearjerker. I remember reading this, I think I was in my bed actually reading, and I was like sobbing with the ending, and same with the movie too. But yeah, like I said, I really like this one, and I'm not really one for like romance, but I did really like it, this one as well. So yeah. Next I have The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman, and this is one that I read 2014, 2015, like years and years ago. Like, 2014, I'm pretty sure. But basically the premises of this is that it takes place in Australia, I want to say in the early, like, mid 1900s, early 1900s, and it follows this family who, like, this man who is a lighthouse caretaker, and they, like, he and his wife live on this island, and the wife has had many miscarriages until one day this man washes up ashore and he's holding this baby, and the man's dead, but the baby is still alive, so they take this girl as their own. And once they go back to shore every so many years, they find out that the daughter that they adopted, that they said is theirs, like their biological daughter, they find out who her mother was, who's still mourning the loss of her child and husband, that she doesn't know what happened to them. So there's very much a kind of like struggle emotionally with how like the husband is like, we need to be honest and tell the truth, and then the wife's like, no, she's ours, like in like this. So it leads to a lot of moral dilemmas, and like when I was reading this I was like, oh my goodness, like you kind of bounce and you understand both perspectives in here, and it's just heartbreaking. And I read this is another one where I cried, but yeah, it just has such an emotional impact, and it's like, what would you do in this situation? I think it did like explain that very well. But yeah, this one it really rips your heart out. Next I have Firefly Lane by Kristin Hannah, and this is probably one of my favorites of her, like all the books of hers that I've read. Basically the premise of this, it follows two friends, Kate and Tully, and their relationship, like in their friendship over the course of 3 decades, when they met when they were kids, like going through university, the ups and downs of all that. And I think what I really liked about this book is that it kind of shows the complexities of female relationships, the ups and downs, and having that best friend who's been with you basically your entire life. I love seeing them like at different stages of your life, and how even though we change when we get older, our friendships don't have to change. And I think it does a really good job at showing that and highlighting strong female friendships and characters in here. This one is also a tearjerker, and I think I read this at school like before a class, and I like got to the end and I was literally like crying. So like all these books, most of these except one, made me cry now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I think this is a book that every woman needs to read, because it really highlights and it tells the stories of our lives, and I feel like it has aspects in here that everyone can relate to, and I think that's really important as well. This is a little cliche, but like I said, I'm very limited on my contemporary selection and like what I actually enjoy, but I have The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, and I read this like when it came out. There was so much hype with this book, the movie, and I actually really enjoyed the movie and this book. This is my only John Green book that I've actually enjoyed. You guys probably know the premise of this, so I'm not even going to explain it, but I just thought it was cute. It was a tearjerker. There were some really good quotes in here. Like if I were to like go back and want to like revisit this story, I think I would actually watch the movie, because I think the movie did a really good job. Like it's another really good book to movie adaptation, but I feel like it's very this book is very complex and it's very thoughtful, and all that. So this is not something I usually gravitate towards, but this was something that I actually really enjoyed. And lastly, this is probably one of my favorite contemporaries of all time, and it is Big Little Lies by Liane Moriarty. I read this like when it was first published, like way before the TV show, way before it became popular, but I really like this. You guys are probably familiar with the plot of this book just with the success of the TV show, but basically it follows this like community in Australia, and the like basically like the pettiness between like parents within a community at like a school, and this like hyper competitiveness with kids, like financial aspects, and all that. Like it's very good satire on just that society and just how it's set up. Like I think it's really done well, but basically the premise of it is it like follows that family, but there is a murder, like that it follows that community, but there is a murder that takes place kind of at the end of the book, and so the book kind of flashes back from different people's perspectives who weren't there, that are getting interviewed at the police, and you don't know who was murdered, but we're following kind of the events leading up to the murder. So this one was really good actually. Like I really love this. Like I said, I read this years ago, and the TV show, like I saw season 1, like I rented it from the library because I'm not really interested in paying for HBO, but I rented the first season of Big Little Lies 2 summers ago, and it's really good adaptation as well. So I'm very interested to see, like once season 2 comes out on DVD, I'll get it from the library, and I'm interested to see how they expanded on this story. But it's really good. I think if you like kind of snide like satires about society and just kind of the pettiness and cattiness of moms, I think this book will be for you. So that's it guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite contemporary books are and all that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.